Right now in Nigeria, something is happening that many people don't fully understand. People are working harder than ever before, waking up early, hustling every single day. Yet somehow money is disappearing faster than it is coming. Prices are rising. Transport is increasing. Food is becoming more expensive. Rent is going up. Even the small things you used to ignore are now demanding serious attention from your pocket. And the painful part is this. Even when you increase your income, it still doesn't feel like enough. It almost feels like there is a hidden leak somewhere. Like no matter how much you pour into your life, something is quietly draining it little by little. If you don't understand what is happening, this situation will not just remain like this, it will get worse. In this video, I will show you why the cost of living keeps rising, the hidden system draining your money, and most importantly, how smart people are surviving and even positioning themselves to win in this same economy. Because the truth is, it is no longer just about how much you earn. It is about how you think, how you behave, and how you adapt. Let's be honest with ourselves. There was a time when if you earned a certain amount, you could plan your life with confidence. You could buy food, pay rent, transport yourself, take care of basic needs, and still have something left. You could breathe without constantly calculating every small expense. But today, that same amount of money feels almost useless. You go to the market with Nigeria Naira 10,000, and you return home wondering what exactly you bought. You enter transport, and the fare has doubled without any improvement in service. You buy fuel, and it feels like you are feeding a machine that never gets satisfied. You recharge your data, and before you even enjoy it, it is already gone. You try to budget, but prices keep changing like they have a mind of their own. So the real question is, what exactly is going on? Is it just inflation? Is it just bad leadership? Is it just the economy? Or is there something deeper that most people are not seeing? Here is the truth many people avoid. The environment has changed, but most people are still operating with old habits, old thinking, and old strategies. And that is dangerous, because when the environment changes and your thinking does not change, you suffer, even if you are working very hard. One of the biggest reasons your money is losing value is something called purchasing power. This simply means what your money can actually buy. Before, 1,000 Nigerian Nairas could do something meaningful. It had strength. It had value. Now 1,000 Nigerian Nairas feels like 100 Nigerian Nairas. And this is not just about numbers, it is about your reality. It means your effort is being reduced quietly. It means your time is being devalued. So even if your income increases, if prices rise faster than your income, you are actually going backwards financially without realizing it. And most people don't even notice this shift clearly. They only feel the pressure, they feel the frustration, but they cannot explain what exactly is happening. But here is where it gets more serious. The real problem is not just rising prices. There's something people are doing every single day that is silently making the situation worse for them. And if you don't stop it, no matter how much money you make, it will never feel enough. Most people respond to rising cost of living emotionally, not strategically. They complain. They panic. They blame the government, the economy, and everything around them. But at the same time, they continue the same financial habits. They try to maintain a lifestyle their income can no longer support. They ignore small financial leaks that gradually become big losses. They spend based on pressure, not based on priority. For example, someone's income has not increased, but their lifestyle keeps increasing. More subscriptions, more outings, more impulse buying, more unnecessary spending to feel okay. Not because they are irresponsible, but because they are not aware of what is happening. And that is where the real damage begins. Because survival in a difficult economy is not about doing more work. It is about doing things differently. If your strategy does not change, your results will not change. This is why many people feel frustrated, confused, and stuck. They are working harder, but not moving forward. They are trying, but not progressing. Because effort without direction leads to exhaustion. Now listen carefully to this. The people who survive difficult economies are not always the ones who earn the most money. They are the ones who understand how money behaves. They understand that money is not just something you spend. It is something you manage, protect, and direct intentionally. They understand that every naira has a job. They understand that survival is about control, not just income. Another mistake many people make is ignoring the power of small decisions. They believe it is only big money that matters. But in reality, your daily habits shape your financial future more than your occasional big income. The little things you ignore, the extra transport you didn't plan, the unnecessary data subscriptions, the repeated small spending on things you don't truly need. These things look harmless in the moment, but over time they become powerful. Because money does not disappear suddenly. It disappears gradually, silently, consistently. And before you realize it, you feel broke without knowing exactly why. That is why awareness is your first weapon. If you cannot track where your money is going, you cannot control where it will go. And if you cannot control it, you will always feel like it is not enough. Now, let me show you something deeper. There are two types of people in this economy. The first type reacts. The second type adjusts. The first type complains about rising prices. The second type studies the environment and adapts. The first type focuses on what is happening to them. The second type focuses on what they can control. The first type waits for things to get better. The second type prepares for things to get harder. And that difference is everything. Because the economy will not adjust itself to favor you. You must adjust yourself to survive within it. You must become more aware, more disciplined, and more intentional. Because survival today is not about luck. It is about strategy. It is about awareness. It is about making better decisions consistently. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you the exact habits that are secretly draining your money every single day. Habits that most people are completely blind to. And more importantly, I will show you how smart people are quietly adjusting their lifestyle without feeling poor, without feeling restricted, and without losing their peace of mind. You will begin to see patterns you never noticed before. You will understand why some people remain stable, even when everything around them is unstable. Because survival in this economy is not about luck. It is about awareness, discipline, and control. Hit the subscribe button if you want to understand how money really works. Build real wealth and stop struggling financially in today's economy. In the first part, you saw that the cost of living is not just rising. Your money is actually losing power. And more importantly, you began to understand that the real problem is not only the economy. It is how people are reacting to it. Now, let's go deeper. Because there are certain habits, certain patterns that are quietly draining people every single day. And the dangerous part is this. Most people don't even realize they are doing these things. They just feel broke without understanding why. Let me show you the first hidden habit. It is called unconscious spending. This is when money leaves your hand without passing through your mind. You are not planning it. You are not questioning it. You are not tracking it. You are just spending automatically. For example, you step out in the morning without a clear plan for your day. You enter transport without thinking of alternatives. You buy food outside not because you want to, but because it is convenient. You subscribe for data without checking how much you really need. You see something online and you buy it instantly. Individually, these things look small, but collectively, they are powerful. Because every day, these small decisions compound. And over time, they become your financial reality. Now think about this carefully. If you are losing small amounts of money every day, what do you think will happen in 30 days? What about 3 months? What about 1 year? This is how money disappears. Not in one big mistake, but in many small, repeated actions. Now here is where it gets even deeper. There is another habit that is even more dangerous. It is called lifestyle pressure. This is when your spending is controlled by what you see, not what you need. You see people online living a certain life. You see friends buying certain things. You see a standard that looks normal. And without realizing it, you start trying to match it. You upgrade your lifestyle without upgrading your income. You spend money to feel comfortable instead of spending money with intention. And this is where many people get trapped because they are not spending to survive anymore. They are spending to belong. And that is expensive. Now, understand this. The more you try to maintain a lifestyle you cannot afford, the more pressure you create for yourself. And pressure leads to poor decisions. You start borrowing. You start making impulsive financial choices. You start chasing quick money. And before you know it, you are deeper in the problem you were trying to escape. But let me show you another hidden factor. This one is very subtle. It is called lack of financial awareness. Many people don't actually know how much they spend in a week. They don't know how much goes to transport. They don't know how much goes to food. They don't know how much goes to data, subscriptions, and random expenses. They are just moving without clarity. And when there is no clarity, there can be no control because you cannot fix what you cannot see. Now pause for a moment and think about your own life. If I ask you right now, how much did you spend in the last 7 days? Can you answer clearly? Or will you guess? Because that answer alone tells you something important. Now here is the truth most people don't like to hear. Being broke is not always about lack of income. Sometimes it is about lack of structure. Now don't misunderstand this. Income matters, but without structure, even high income can disappear. That is why you see people who earn good money, yet still struggle, because they have no system controlling their money. Now let me show you another mistake. This one is very common. It is called reactive spending. This is when you spend money only when problems show up. Instead of planning ahead, you are always responding. Transport increased, you adjust. Food price increased, you adjust. Something spoils, you adjust. Everything is reactive. Nothing is planned. And this keeps you in survival mode because you are always catching up, never ahead. Now here is the truth. People who survive tough economies do not live reactively. They live intentionally. They plan ahead. They think ahead. They prepare ahead. Now let me show you something powerful. There are 3 levels of people in this economy. Level 1, people who are confused. They don't understand what is happening. They just feel the pressure. Level 2, people who understand the problem, but they don't know what to do, so they remain stuck. Level 3, people who understand and adjust. These are the people who survive. These are the people who stay stable. These are the people who slowly build control. Now, the question is, which level are you operating in? Because your level determines your outcome. Now here is where everything begins to shift. The moment you move from unconscious living to intentional living, everything starts to change. You begin to see your money differently. You begin to question your decisions. You begin to control your actions. And that is where power begins. Now let me show you something most people never think about. Time and money are connected. Every time you spend money, you are actually spending time because that money came from your effort. So when you spend carelessly, you are not just wasting money. You are wasting your life energy. And when you begin to see money like that, your behavior changes. You become more careful, more intentional, more aware. Now here is another powerful shift. Instead of asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I stop losing the money I already have? Because sometimes the solution is not more income. It is less leakage. Now don't worry. In the next part, I will show you the exact strategies smart people are using right now to survive this economy without feeling restricted. Real strategies, practical adjustments, clear actions. Because awareness without action is useless. And understanding without application changes nothing. But before we go there, remember this. If you don't control your money, your environment will control it for you. And in this economy, that is a dangerous place to be. Hit the subscribe button if you want to understand how money really works. Build real wealth and stop struggling financially in today's economy. In the previous parts, you began to see what is really happening around you. You saw that the cost of living is rising. But more importantly, you understood that money is losing value and that most people are reacting emotionally instead of strategically. You also saw the hidden habits that quietly drain money every day without people realizing it. Now, this is the most important part, because understanding the problem is not enough. If you do not change your approach, nothing changes. This is where you move from awareness to control. This is where survival becomes a system. The first thing you must understand is this: you cannot control the economy, but you can control your behavior inside the economy. That is the shift. Most people are waiting for things to get better. Smart people are preparing for things to stay difficult. And that preparation is what gives them stability. Now let us talk about real strategies. Not theory, not motivation, but practical ways to survive and position yourself properly in this environment. The first strategy is what I call controlled living. This simply means you stop living on autopilot. Every expense must pass through awareness. Before you spend, you ask a simple question: is this necessary or is this emotional? That question alone can save you a lot of money, because many expenses are not based on need. They are based on mood, pressure, or habit. When you begin to question your spending, you slow down unnecessary leakage. Now, this does not mean you should suffer. It means you should be intentional. The second strategy is expense restructuring. Many people try to survive by cutting everything. That does not work for long. Instead of cutting everything, you rearrange your spending. You identify your highest expenses. Then you reduce, replace, or optimize them. For example, transport. Instead of moving randomly, you plan your movement. You combine activities. You reduce unnecessary trips. You look for cheaper alternatives where possible. Food. Instead of eating outside frequently, you control your food system. You plan what you eat. You reduce waste. You become deliberate. Data and subscriptions. You track what you actually use. You remove what you do not need. You stop paying for convenience that is not necessary. These are not big changes individually, but together they create control. Now let us go deeper. The third strategy is income protection. Most people focus only on making money, but they ignore protecting it. In this economy, protection is as important as income, because if you make money and lose it easily, you are still in the same position. Income protection means you reduce unnecessary risks. You avoid impulsive investments. You avoid emotional financial decisions. You avoid pressure-based spending. You think before you act. Now this leads to the next level. The fourth strategy is controlled increase. Instead of chasing random income opportunities, you focus on increasing your income in a controlled and realistic way. You improve your skill. You improve your value. You look for opportunities that align with your current reality, not fantasy. Because one of the biggest mistakes people make is chasing unrealistic opportunities out of desperation. And that usually leads to loss. Now, let us talk about mindset. Because without the right mindset, none of these strategies will last. You must develop what I call economic awareness. This means you are always aware of your environment. You observe changes. You adjust quickly. You do not ignore reality. You face it. You respond to it. You adapt. Another mindset you must develop is delayed gratification. This is the ability to say no now so that you can be stable later. In a difficult economy, this mindset is powerful because it helps you avoid unnecessary pressure. It helps you stay disciplined. It helps you make better decisions. Now let me show you something most people ignore. Your environment influences your spending. If you are constantly around people who spend carelessly, you will feel pressure to do the same. If you are constantly exposed to content that promotes luxury without context, you will feel inadequate. So part of survival is controlling your environment. You choose what you expose yourself to. You choose what you listen to. You choose what influences your decisions. Now let us bring everything together. Survival in this economy is not about one big move. It is about consistent small decisions, daily awareness, daily control, daily discipline. It is about building a system that supports you. not a lifestyle that drains you. Now understand this clearly. There is a difference between surviving and being stable. Survival is temporary. Stability is controlled. The goal is not just to survive. The goal is to become stable, even in instability. And that is possible, but only if you take responsibility for your actions. Only if you become aware. Only if you become intentional. Now this is where your power lies. Not in the economy, not in external factors, but in your ability to think differently, to act differently, to respond differently. Because, at the end of the day, two people can be in the same environment. One struggles, one adapts. The difference is not luck, it is strategy. Now, as we close, remember this. Money is not just something you earn. It is something you manage. It is something you direct. It is something you protect. And when you understand that, everything begins to change. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. This is about control. This is about building a life that can withstand pressure. Because pressure will always come. But how you respond to it determines your outcome. This is Healthy Billionaire Academy, where thinking differently creates wealth. Discipline builds power, and your future is designed, not left to chance. Because here, we don't just chase success. We build the mindset that attracts it. Hit the subscribe button if you want to understand how money really works. Build real wealth and stop struggling financially in today's economy.